On the 31st of December 1999, when the entire country, the world over, is preparing for celebrating the new millennium, welcoming the new millennium, moving from 20th century to the 21st century, I'm sure all of you must have had a ball of a time and waiting for that day to actually freak out, just let your hair down. Now, on that very day, at midnight, I was sitting at 18,500 feet in Sikkim, along with my troops, with 7 to 8 feet of snow all around me. Just that area where we walk around is the one which we clean because we need to go to the kitchen and eat and spend our time. Midnight, 12 o'clock, the temperatures have dipped to -15 to -10 to -15 degrees. But we are a bunch of 80-odd soldiers, I being the company commander. So we said, are we going to just sit in this cold weather here, God-forsaken place, no one to talk around? Those days are different when you didn't have mobiles, your phones don't work, nothing is there. You don't connect here to any of the people. How are we going to celebrate? So we all said, no, we're not going to let go of this occasion. So we collected firewood, we put in our tents, and thereafter at the midnight, we all had a campfire, we sang, we danced, and we welcomed the year Y2K. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to tell you is, there are tough times, there are tough situations that you encounter on day-to-day basis. But how you make out of it is what is the name of the game. Now, moving on to the next part, I would like to tell you a little about my life story. Now, that's my life story. I don't know how many of you can make it. So this is where I wanted to ask you my age. So the first 11 years of my life, of course, childhood. Next 6 years and 6 months, I was in Sainik school. Thereafter, for 4 years, I underwent military training at the National Defense Academy and the Indian Military Academy. 21 years and 21 days, to be precise, I served in the army. And today happens to be my 10th year and 10th day in the corporate. So it's a coincidence, so 10-10. So I'm an infantry officer. Infantry means the combat soldier who is right in front in the battlefield. And you are facing hand-to-hand combat. See, in all warfare, you would have seen a lot of movies. There are aircrafts going, there are tanks which are going, there are artillery which are firing. But ultimately, how do you decide the winner? The winner is when you actually set your foot on the ground. And that particular setting your foot on the ground is done by us, the infantry soldiers. So we are the front line, me and even Riyaz. So I come from that. And my troops, I am from the Assam regiment, and my troops and my Jawans hail from the 7 northeastern states. So a part of my being happiness, in addition to what I am as a person, is also, I think, attributed to my troops who are from the northeast. The northeast people, let me tell you, they're the happiest lot. They're always happy. Put them in any situation, they come out happy. So actually, Assam regiment has done a great service. Actually, I owe a lot to my regiment. Now, in the next 15 minutes or so, I will just tell you a couple of stories of my life, because I don't think I can bring out lessons like other speakers. I will just rattle out some stories, some anecdotes which has happened with me. Now, it all started in that 4 years of military training. Now, I joined the National Defense Academy. I'm sure most of you know it. It's in Khadakwasla, Pune. NDA is a very tough exam. You get through it. NDA is divided into, it's a 3-year course, divided into 6 terms of 6 months each. So during our times, the first termers, the first 6 months you are kept aside somewhere near Pune, because you get to the grind, you understand the situations, you learn how to dress and what to wear, what to do, and you're basically adjusting to the people all over the country. So the first 6 months are over. Then comes the challenge, the main academy, you go in your second term. Now, when you come to the Khadakwasla, there are 12 squadrons there. Squadron means each, it's like a house, what you have in the schools, the house, red house, blue house. Like that we have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. We have up to 12 squadrons. In each of the squadron, you have about 20 to 30 second termers, 20 to 30 third termers, likewise up to 6 terms. So about 5 terms, you have batches of everybody. Now let me tell you, the 6 termers, they think they are Lord's own creation. They're next to God actually. The 5th termers, they think they are the next gods. 4th termers think that they are the ones who are going to actually set the discipline on course of the academy. And 3rd termers are the ones who are actually the executors, who execute, they drill that goddamn discipline in you. And 2nd termers, of course, they're non-existent. They're nobody actually. You don't survive actually, you're not there. So that's how the system is. So as a 2nd termer, I want to tell you the story of a 2nd termer, what happens in his 24 hours of his lifetime. The day you reach NDA, first thing that happens is, whatever background that you're coming from, you could be son of an army officer, you could be coming from any village, you could be anybody. The day you land up, first thing is your haircut. You are given such a crew cut that you lose all your identity. Everything is zero. Your mustache shaven, nothing. So you are your soul, you and yourself. There's nothing, no tags attached. So that is the life of a 2nd termer. No training, because the day you reach NDA, your training starts. So now there is, in NDA, there is a structured training and there is an unstructured training. Structured training is what is given in the timetable. You get up in the morning, you get ready, go for your PT, your drill, and followed by your classes and evening games, so on and so forth. That's a structured training. But what NDA does is the non-structured training. That's where your life, you learn the skills, survival skills. That's where you actually learn how to be happy, how to face these situations. So in a typical 2nd termer's life starts at 4 in the morning. He gets up at 4, he does his whatever morning duties. By 4:30 he's up, his kit is ready, he has got an outdoor of a drill competition, a drill class, he has a PT class, he's ready with his kit, he goes down, that is the time the tea guy comes, he collects tea for himself, and he also has to take tea for 2-3 other seniors, which he does that. Thereafter he goes down to the cycle stand, gets his cycle, and invariably, let me tell you, when he goes to the cycle stand, the valves of the cycle are missing. So either for that day he has to run with the cycle. I mean, you just, because your valves are not there, it's not that you leave the cycle and you are running the whole day. No, the cycle has to be with you. If you have air and everything, you have to travel that. If you don't have, you run with it. So that's the name of, that's how it is. So as a 2nd termer, you come and park your bike, you park 2 or 3 other seniors' bikes in front, cycles, we call them bikes of course. You put them in front, so on and so forth. So your life is already active. By 5:30, you have done so many activities, and you have a fall-in the morning, and 6 o'clock, all of us go to our respective classes. There, of course, somebody checks you, you do your morning training, and after the training, you come back. You change also in between, from PT dress to the drill dress and all. You change, you come back, go for breakfast. Now, India breakfast is supposed to be the best breakfast in the world, but the 2nd termers don't get to eat it. The beauty is, invariably, there's one guy who is sitting in front of your 3rd termer, and let me tell you, all the British customs and traditions, whatever the Britishers have left, is followed in letter and spirit in the army, especially in India. Whether it's your table manners, how you ask for something to be passed, how you cannot do the cross table talk, you cannot ask the neighbor to pass, and you can't stretch your hand to reach a ball. You just have to, there are some etiquettes which you need to follow. While you're doing this, somebody asks you, what's the name of the pudding or the porridge? See, people like us who have come from villages, for us, what is there, we just eat. You name something wrong, okay, you're excused. You're excused means you're excused that dish. So suddenly they ask you something else about what's there for the anda. So you say scotch, single fry, double fry. You mess it up, you're excused. So you're excused many things, but so what you eat is, you learn a lesson for the next day. That I am going to come prepared next day, I'm not going to miss the names. So same thing, it goes on and on and on. You come back after lunch, and there again, your day. There is these unorganized punishments. Somebody during the course of the day, out of your batch of 20 or 30 people in the second termers, has done some mistake somewhere and somebody caught him, or somebody has taken panga with some third termer which you are not even aware, but the entire batch is called, and now you are doing front roll, back roll, side roll, that roll, this roll. You really don't know why you were getting punished. So all of us are rolling. You ask the side guy, yeah, what happened? I don't know. You ask the front guy, yeah, kya hua? Yeah, pata nahi. So nobody knows why you are doing punishment, but everybody is doing the punishment. The guy who has done it, he will tell you later, yeah, actually maine panga liya tha. So that's how it is. After doing all that as a second term, so what I'm trying to get it is, you do that, then in the evening you sit for training, your classes, your study period. In study period, nobody does the studies. You are again knowing the menu for the night. What is there in the soup? Is it a mulli guthani soup? Is it a tomato soup? Is it that soup? Is it this? Because unless you say it there, otherwise you're excused. So you're prepared that way. So the second termer is always doing this. He is doing the survival acts. He is knowing how to survive, how to get over the situation. And thereafter, that starts the midnight session after dinner. Now that's the best part. Now you are in, somebody is in drill dress, somebody is in a riding dress, somebody is in a swimming trunk. You don't know why we are in a swimming trunk in the middle of the night. Somebody calls you, somebody punishes you. So you're doing a bathroom session, you're drinking and drinking and drinking water. You drink so much of water that he gives you one push and you vomit everything. So anyway, the end part of it, he goes to bed around 11:30, 12 o'clock, unofficial time. Otherwise, officially he's supposed to go to bed at 10. So what I'm trying to get it is, despite all this training, what goes on in the mind when we as batchmates meet? यार हम पहले नहीं थे second termers. हमसे पहले ये जितना भी seniors थे, they were also second termers. They were passed. And हम last नहीं हैं. हमारे बाद भी second termers आएंगे, वो भी यही रगड़ा खाएंगे. So don't worry guys, chill and let's carry on. So that's how it is. So that's how you learn to be happy. You learn to get over the situations, and you learn the survival skills and be happy in every moment. And now actually the second termers learn the tricks of trade. How to hoodwink the third termer, how to hoodwink the fourth termer, so this is how it is. So I think most of us, whether it is Riyaz or me or any of us, after having gone through such type of training, we learn to live that day. We don't plan for the next day. Next day, how you are called, what sort of punishment you're going to face. Least interested. Today, did I eat my 3 meals or not, is what matters. So that's one story. I'll also tell you one more story. I thought I'll just do some storytelling. I don't have any lessons to be actually shared with you. Now, this is about an incident when after I got commissioned, I joined the Assam regiment. You do various postings. This is a posting in, have you heard of a place known as Poonch in J&K? Yeah. Rajouri and Poonch? Yeah. Okay. This is in Poonch. Typically what happens in this field stations, that area of J&K is line of control. You must have heard these names known as an international boundary, a line of control, line of actual control. So there are two, three variants. So in an international boundary, you have proper boundary, you have the border security forces and all that, and some sort of the army doesn't stay on the borders. They stay a little away from the borders. Whereas in a line of control is something wherein in 47, when both India and Pakistan have stopped their aggressions, wherever the forces were, they decided then that you remain there and occupy those heights. So if our troops are generally climbing up at that time and those were on top, it was frozen, so you freeze there. So even if you are on the lower slopes of a particular mountain on a hillock, you remain there. So till today, we occupy those postures in J&K. So Poonch is one such area. My battalion, 6 Assam, we were given a border of about 4 kilometers to guard against the infiltration. No infiltration, no exfiltration. Out of which about 1 kilometer is taken care because of the terrain. You don't have to really deploy troops. Now, what you really were guarding is about a 3-kilometer stretch for which I was the company commander. Now, the beauty is that particular, I'll just tell you how it looks like. Here is a hill, and on top, there's a Paki guy sitting. You have the slopes, those ridges falling into this. There is a Nala here, and there is another mountain climbing up here. Now, this is all held by us, Indian troops. Now, on this slope, up to certain stretch is India. The top portion is by Paki. And therefore, they wanted a dynamic company commander, young guy, who has a, who is happy guy, who should be there. So they chose me to be the company commander there. And there are 4 ridges like this. The bottom, one of all those 4 ridges culminate at one certain point. Now that is where I used to be staying as a company commander major with just about 7-8 years of service. And I had 4 outposts. All these outposts have about 10 to 15 guys sitting in this post. Now, believe me when I say you cannot move from the Nala after you cross. Firstly, there's no track, there's no road, there's no electricity, there's no generator, there's nothing at all with you. You live on lanterns and all that. So all the movement that takes place from the Nala upwards to the post is only by night. Because he is there sitting on top. He can choose and pick you. He can just fire his machine guns. He just sprays the guns. He also doesn't see us, but he just sprays. Now the thing is, I remained as a company commander there for 2 years. On the lower slopes, unmarried, bachelor, happy guy as I said. So I remained there. Of course, I was in love with this woman. So I used to write letters to her. So I spent a lot of my time doing that. So what I'm trying to get at is, those 4 outposts where my Jawans were there, knowing fully well that they are right under the nose of the enemy, helpless. Any war game that takes place, war game happens in the headquarters when people, all the big heads, they sit and they discuss and all. They create a war game. Okay, red land has appeared, come this side, he's building up forces, how the blue land does this. So guys, how do you think, how many hours are you going to stall the enemy? If he's coming with this force, can you stall it? All that happens. But invariably, what happens when I go to that war games, my post, they say, okay, half an hour, now D-Day, HR. HR means the time when the enemy crosses the line. H plus 30, okay, that company is gone, wiped out. I asked them, here in 30 minutes, all of us have died. And you still keep me there. I said, what is the point then keeping me there? 70 bodies, 70 to 80 bodies. He says, no, we have to put an aggressive posture. We have to show we are there, aggressive Indian nature. So that is the nature of the terrain, which my boys, of course, I won't tell them this is what the people in the back are thinking. But then I definitely leave the wisdom to my seniors. I'm sure they have a point in putting us there. We don't question that. But the thing is, you are there, your leadership, your ensuring that your boys remain happy, they remain always alert, you take care of them, you ensure the rations reach them in time at night. So all that you need to do, but I'm telling you, I have not had any case of dissatisfaction, soldiers shooting amok, what happens when somebody gets mad, you take the weapon and you shoot the neighbor, and nothing of that sort. 2 years, happiness, pleasure. Why? Because, now here I end the story. Now I want to tell you the lessons. Why people are happy. Now, all of us sitting here in Hyderabad and things of this South India, we don't even realize. As I'm talking to you right now, there is a company commander sitting there, I was sitting there way back. Now somebody is sitting right now there. Those soldiers, those 70, 80 years, still sitting in that same post under the nose of the enemy and still guarding the country on the borders. So you must understand, they also have families. It's not just the job and this monthly salary that they're going to get a credit. It's the motivation and the happiness. So you need to be really happy and in a good state of mind, because they're also trained like us. We got trained in NDA, they got trained in the respective regimental centers. So in army, what happens is, everyone understands, one day at a time. We live today, let's get over it, let's live for tomorrow. Period. No more discussions. So that's how it is. Anyway, after these stories of a second termer and this, I just have one small story of my own friend, our classmate, actually Riyaz's batchmate. He is a classmate of ours. He lives in Vijayawada right now. Now this guy is again joined NDA with us. Very passionate, very jovial. We call him a jazz boy, fly boy, because he was in the Air Force, not like us. And NDA training, all casual, coming somewhere, slightly relaxed. He's a very chilled out guy. So he joined Air Force. He went from the NDA, he went to the Air Force Academy. Excellent this thing. In the academy, there only those handful of people are directly put in the fighter aircrafts. Others they go through another set of training to be put in either transporters or helicopters or something else. While this, my friend of mine, he just directly got commissioned because of the skills that he has acquired, because of his mentality, mental frame. I told you, he's a very jazzy guy, cool guy. He's not perturbed about anything. So he got into the fighter aircraft. So what happened till now? All his dreams, whatever he wanted to achieve in life, he wanted to fly, he wanted to become a fighter pilot, which he did. And he passed out on the 13th of June, 1987. He became an officer. It happens in Hyderabad, the training, Air Force Academy. He goes home to Vijayawada, happy. Everybody is happy, his mom, dad, people, friends. They say, "Yeah, party to banta hai." ठीक है, बनता है. So the very next day, 14th, he goes out, he's gathering people, all people are invited, he calls them for a party, and he goes out to the market in an auto or that rickshaw, tricycle, and he's coming back and boom, some accident takes place and he falls. All his dreams shattered. He is paralyzed, like hip below, and he is paralyzed even till today. All the dreams have shattered. Whatever he has done. Now tell me, how many of you can imagine this situation happening to you yourself? Thank you, ma'am. So now, this guy, because of his nature, what I told you, he's a very cool guy, relaxed. He took that situation to himself. 2 years of hospitalization and all that. Then he realized and he accepted the situation that he is wheel bound. But then his spirits never died. You meet him today. He learnt thereafter, he learnt computer science in those days. Then thereafter he worked 2-3 years here in Vijayawada. Then he went to US. He used to work in US all by himself. He is not the one who seeks pity. He is not the one. Actually, he is self-driven. Now he's come back. He is here. He is a big motivation for all of us. Actually, we are all blessed to have a friend like that. You meet him, you feel that maybe you are the one who is handicapped, not him. That's the level of motivation and happiness that he gives. I'm sure Riyaz and all of us agree. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to get you here is, don't go by these small things, finance, this, that. No. There are tougher challenges out there. Face them. You live that day, you be happy. If you're able to see the next day, be more happy. Period. So, be happy. Tough times do come, but tough people do. So, this is what my mantras are, actually. Very simple mantras. This too shall pass. You see, this is what the second term thought. Ye bhi nikal jayega. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You all know it. And the last, we all live by this. Live life king size, live each day fully as if it's your last day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Riyaz, for providing this. Anyone, any questions, please? Any questions?
What do you do right now?
Oh, that's the last 10 by 10D, the 10th year and 10 days. Now, what I did is, after my 21 years of service, I said, okay, provided, attend to the domestic people. I come here, I did my IIM management from IIM Lucknow just before leaving the army, and I got a job here in a GIS company, and I'm the vice president of a surveying division. So we do surveying, aerial surveying, hydrographic surveying, and land surveying. So we have our aircrafts, we have our ships, we have our DGPS equipments. So I'm doing that, and I head the survey division of a company here in Banjara Hills.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Wasn't that a wonderful talk? So earlier he was measuring the mountains on foot, and now he's doing the measuring from the sky. Right? So may I request volunteer has volunteered Malika to give the token of appreciation to Col Hari Prasad. Malika on the stage, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Things that you have done to protect our country and our lives here. Really blessed.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.